has fallen on the streets of Spokane, but yet we've got college basketball. Gonzaga, Texas Southern, next. Ladies and gentlemen, kind of a benign picture right there for what's been going on in the inland Northwest for the last 36 hours. Those just the remnants of a storm that came through and dropped over 30 inches of snow in much of this area. Inside, can you tell it's finals week, and they're over. In fact, they've canceled the final day of finals here at Gonzaga. They got a lot of reason to be happy. Their Zags are home. They've not been here since November 18th. Finals were canceled on the last day. I'm Greg Heiser, and this is Craig Elo. And Craig, Gonzaga, they've been away for a long time. And that road trip started with that down in Orlando at the Old Spice Classic. And what a test down there.
It was a great opportunity for the Zags. They came out with a victory and a big one over Tennessee. But then they had to come home and play Washington State down in Cougarville on the road, but took care of that in the second half and came through with a big victory down in Pullman.
Of course, they got to 7-0, and then they ran into the University of Arizona. The final game of that road swing, they did not have the emotion of the Wildcats, and Gonzaga suffered their first loss of the season.
Well, Gonzaga has won on the road this year. They've won with big first half, they won with big second halves, and they've won close ones, but they did not win this close one against Arizona. I think the travel basically got to them. It was the last road trip of that 5-1 schedule, and I think they were looking forward to coming home, taking finals, and getting done with the back at home.
Yeah, Texas Southern in town tonight. This is a team out of the SWAC. Important for Gonzaga not to look beyond this team to their showdown with Connecticut on Saturday.
Yeah, and you can't accuse Texas Southern of not taking on the big dogs or running with the big dogs, because they played a lot of road games. 10th straight road game, played in 7 states. GU is third top 25 opponent. Their first home game is until December 27th, and guess who that's against? Portland State. So they'll run with the big dogs.
Now, I don't want to destroy the drama here, because we're all about that. But Texas Southern is 0-9. Gonzaga should win this game. But then again, that's why they play the games. We were only supposed to get 8 inches of snow. We got 30. We'll get you tonight's starting lineups and the tip-off when we come back.
Two of college basketball's most storied programs collide.
Well, for the first time since November 18th, Gonzaga gets introduced on their home floor. Greg Heister and Craig Elo. It is finals week, the end of it. Earlier, well, actually yesterday, they canceled the final day. I cannot get over that. Never had that sort of fortune when I was in college. As we take a look at the starting lineups, first for Texas Southern, DeAndre Hall, Matthew Miller, the guards, Jox Jones, the forward, along with Ricky Boyles and Michael Drewy. The head coach, Tony Harvey, in his first season, a former longtime assistant at the University of Missouri. He's in his first year here at Texas Southern. 0-9 to start, but his team will play hard. Gonzaga starting lineups just announced. This is what they look like, as they've been the entire season now. Pargo, the starting point guard, Bolden and Downs, his guard mates, Austin Day and Heitfeld on the front line for head coach Mark Few, who picked up just his 61st loss last week against the University of Arizona to go along with those 243 career wins. And he certainly, Craig, is wanting his team to come out quickly, make a statement early, and get to the bench quickly.
Exactly. I mean, I think we're all looking forward to that UConn game, but what's at hand first? The Texas Southern Tigers. They're coming up. I tell you what, you got to be careful with them. They're an athletic team, Greg. They love to press. That's the way Coach Harvey feels like his team's got any chance of winning, is full court pressure the whole game. Now, if you're a good team and you can break that press and score against it, then Texas Southern needs to find another strategy. But tonight, you're going to see some athletes running up and down the floor. And I think Texas Southern has a few of their own.
Yeah, Tony Harvey brings a lineup to Spokane that features its tallest player at 6'9", and he's on the bench. The rest are 6'8" and smaller, which really means they're either 6'6" or 6'7". So not a big lineup.
No, so you can basically do what I just said, that you can get out there and press. Now they'll run a zone matchup, 1-2-2, but they will just definitely try to make Gonzaga take early shots from the perimeter and try to get into a hectic pace with them.
And you can see Coach Harvey over there on the sideline. He's up off the bench right now already yelling at his guys. He's an intense guy, and his players will play hard for him. Here's Heitfeld from the elbow, just inside, missed it. Rebound, DeAndre Hall, number 1.
Well, against that 1-2-2, there's a lot of space opened in the lane, and that's exactly where Josh found an open spot, just short on his shot.
That's Ricky Boyles with it, number 20. Into the corner. Here's Hall with it, guarded by Micah Downs, number 22, the senior out of Kirkland. 14 on the shot clock. Texas Southern not really even close to that rim yet. As Miller will drive, hand off to Hall. Free throw line jumper is good, and the Tigers score first.
Yeah, DeAndre Hall, very athletic and a very good mid-range game, which you just saw. He found a little spot coming off the curl.
Downs, corner, 3-ball, bang. 3-2 Gonzaga. Timeout, Texas Southern. And Coach Harvey is not happy.
Well, Micah Downs was standing all alone in the corner, and he's trying to figure out defensively who was supposed to get over there. You can't let a guy just slip, but that's one of the best places to attack the zone, I believe, is on the baseline in the corner or the short corner, because you get behind the defense, they can't see you. I think that's exactly what Micah Downs did.
Let's take a look at Craig's eggs now. This is the keys to the game. What are they, Craig?
Well, you're going to have to see attack full court pressure, and when I say that, I said Texas Southern loves to full court press. So what you want to do is attack it and look to score, not just break it, but look to score. Second one, box out and rebound. I think there's going to be a lot of shots tonight, probably over 60, 65 shots. They're going to have to box out. And what I mean by that is literally put your body on one of these Texas Southern players. And then the other thing, the extra effort. They do the intangibles. What makes GU so good over the past few years has been their intangibles. And that's what they got to have to play GU basketball tonight.
Boyles with it. Heitfeld out deep as we take a look at tonight's officials. Mike Peterson, Randy Burkhart, Scott Harris. They're known as the good guys. Hall into the corner. Is this Gonzaga's defense or is this Texas Southern being very deliberate? I guess that's not deliberate. Hall with the deep three. Actually, that was Miller. Rebound, Bolden. Up court, Heitfeld, 6'11", running and finishing. 5-2 Gonzaga.
Well, we've had the luxury in the past of seeing all GU big men run the floor very well, but I think we're seeing the best at it right now in Josh Heitfeld.
Not only does he run the ball or run the floor well, Craig, but catches the ball as well as any of the big players, the big post players that Mark Few has had.
Oh, no question. Has great hands and the ability to stop and catch it and then go up with the shot as better as anyone we've seen in GU uniform.
Jones with a missed day with the rebound to Pargo. Again, Heitfeld runs and posts up quickly. Bolden fakes the three. Here's Austin Day working. Shot away and good. Count the basket. Chance for three for Austin Day.
Well, Austin Days just has a plethora of shots, right? So you got to guard him when he catches the ball at the free throw line, or he's going to shoot right over you. Look where he's at. He's on the free throw line. Now he uses the arm to hook himself a little bit in there, and it's man-to-man against Michael Drury, and Austin wins the battle.
So Gonzaga now has taken 4 shots inside the three-point line as Day misses the opportunity for 3. They've only taken 1 shot from outside the perimeter. This is a team that's coming in shooting over 21 threes per game. It's obvious they want to go inside. Here's Bolden with a steal. The lob, down, finish. 9-2 Gonzaga.
Yeah, just a great job of running the floor with Matt Bolden, getting in his vision, and then Micah Downs is probably one of the best leapers on the team. Throw it up there above the rim and see if he can go get it.
That's Drewy, number 55. Day is there defensively. Pargo, the near steal. 10 on the shot clock. Drewy inside will drive on Heitfeld. Shot away, no good. Tipped around. Heitfeld tipped it to himself. And then he's fouled.
I see this way too often in college basketball, what Michael Drury did at the free throw line. He caught the ball, had an open shot, and then what did he do? He took 2 dribbles right into the heart of the GU's defense, and who was standing down there other than Josh Heifeld and Austin Day? You don't want to do that. Take the shot where you got it the first time.
Coach Harvey not a happy guy over there on his bench. His team down to Gonzaga 9-2 as they're nearing the 3.5-minute mark of the first half. Fargo with a drive in the left hand, the baseline, great feed, Day, and it won't roll through. Kicked around, picked up by number 15, Shocks Jones. And now Hall drives to the middle, shot away, no good. And the flush on the tip by Boyles. Fargo, corner, Downs, another 3, good. He's 2 of 2. He struggled from behind the arc against Arizona, 2 of 7. He hits his first 2 in this game.
I know you wore your big winter boots in here because of all the snow outside, but did you bring your track shoes? Because right now, that's what we're watching.
Drury again. Another shot off, and Fargo runs it down.
But that's what you saw Austin Day get out there and contest the shot. That's what has made GU's defense different this year.
Bolden won't get the roll, but Heitfeld kept it alive today. Back to Bolden for 3. Well, just like that, I just got done saying they'd only taken 1 attempt from behind the arc, and Bolden makes it 3.
Well, the Zags not shooting the ball well from behind the 3-point line this year, only 34%. Matt's right on 34% for the year, but sometimes I think they settle for that outside shot a little bit more than they should when they should go inside when you got a guy like Josh Heifeld.
Gonzaga getting the pace going, hitting 6 of their first 9 shots. Texas Southern trying to stay alive, working it inside. 15-4 the score. And welcome back. Gonzaga off to a quick lead at 15-4 on Texas Southern. Micah Downs with 2 makes from behind the arc, Craig. But let's take a look at how they're doing on your eggs.
Well, this is an intangible. Josh Heifeld couldn't get the rebound himself, but he saw Austin Day standing there in the lane, tapped it right to him, and those are the things that players just, instinctively do out there. You can't really coach them. You can tell them to do it. The deflections, the charges, diving for a loose ball or blocking someone out. Those are the intangibles that you want to see GU do because they do them so well.
David Burrell, number 23 into the game for Texas Southern. Stephen Gray and Ira Brown in there for Gonzaga now.
And there's another one. Bad outlet by Ira Brown to Matt Bolden. Gets the ball stolen, but Matt doesn't quit on the play. Gets the ball right back for the Bulldogs.
We just saw that swat out by Josh Heitfeld. He does that a lot, Craig. But isn't it, if you can get a hand on it to swat it, shouldn't you be grabbing the ball?
Well, from the position he had on that one, I agree with you on that. If you can get a hand on it and you're that big, go ahead and grab it. But if you can't, then maybe tap it to a teammate.
And Bolden hits the 3. 18-4 Gonzaga.
And some token pressure by the Bulldogs causing a little problem for the Texas Southern. They weren't prepared for that. Ira Brown staying up after the basket. Double team in the inbounds.
Try to go back door. Stephen Gray with the defense there. Tapped away by Bolden. The Zags very opportunistic to start this game. Ira Brown with a 2-handed thunder. Wow. 20-4.
Well, there again, Matt Bolden sticking his hand in there, knocking it away from the post player, coming up with the steal, and then Ira Brown filling the lane. And he did that without his headband on.
Oh. What an athletic guy. Nice left hand, but the miss by Burrell. And Pargo now with a head up and a full head of steam. Right to the glass, missed the lay-in. Brown with a rebound, kick out. Gray to Bolden into the corner, Pargo. Skip pass, Gray far side. Here's Ira Brown on the post. Out to Bolden, nobody wants to shoot. Heitfeld inside, fall away, long.
I was just enjoying the ball movement by the Bulldogs. It was inside, it was back outside, then it was cross court. They were doing a little bit of everything.
Burrell moves to the inside. Here's Drury with the ball out on top. That's number 24. Henderson into the game. 10 on the shot clock. Deep three by Miller. That's good. And it's 20-7. So I got to do some rearranging here. Great save by Heitfeld. Bolden, three ball in and out. Heitfeld got the rebound. He'll go to the free throw line. So my roster has Damian Henderson wearing 00. He shows up to the game wearing number 24.
I guess maybe his uniform didn't make it in the snowstorm. But yeah, look at that. Great steal. And then Ira Brown. Don't hang around, Ira.
Why not?
Oh. Well, if I was giving away a Craig's Eggs tonight, Josh Heitfeld would be the leading candidate right now. Caught that long pass.
Yes.
Saved it back to Matt. Matt misses the three. What effort. Comes back in, gets the rebound, gets fouled, goes to the free throw line, knocks down two, where he has to get better. No, he's 70%.
Yeah, 70% free throw shooter. Hits them both.
Maybe
Three team fouls now in Texas Southern.
I should say getting better at going to the line more often.
There you go.
Yeah.
He certainly should have had more opportunities in that game against Arizona.
Yeah, that was a great mano-a-mano matchup between him and Jordan Hill, wasn't it?
He's got to form that desire to want to go to the rim more instead of settling for the jump shot. He'll get those free throws. Nice feed inside to Boyles. The junior out of Los Angeles hits 22-9.
Yeah, something that UGU fans have seen a lot of, that high-low pass. That time from Jock Jones all the way down to Boyles. Pargo got caught playing on the high side.
Austin Day, a little fall away from the baseline. That is silky.
You know, that man, he wasn't happy about the loss to Arizona, but I got to think he's got to be happy. He played 36 minutes in that game.
Scored 22 points.
22
career
points.
high.
Career high, yep.
Zag defense doing a nice job here early, Craig.
Always pressure on the ball. You see a good closeout by Ira Brown, getting pressure on the ball. Now the dribbler has to do something with it.
Burrell, no look. Missed the jam. And a foul is called. Great look by Burrell. I like what this young man brings to this game for Texas Southern. Take another look. The steal by Bolden. Head up. Ira Brown. And look out. 24-9 Gonzaga. Gonzaga shooting 60%, leading Texas Southern. And Craig, Matt Bolden, one of those players whose contribution doesn't always show up statistically, but so far in this game, it is.
I totally agree with you, Matt Bolden. You know, one thing you always look at in the paper is how many points a guy scores. Well, Matt Bolden does a lot for this team in that category, but in other categories as well. Steals, he's already got 2 tonight. Excellent pass, head up immediately when he got control of the basketball and found someone up ahead, who was Ira Brown, who slammed it home.
Downs, nice defense there. Tried to go to Ira Brown, who's lining up another dunk. The steal gives Texas Southern an opportunity here. DeAndre Hall, number 1 back into the game for the Tigers. Posting up is Boyles, calling for the ball. There's Miller backing down. Now the fall away over Goodson. May have been blocked. And Dimitri Goodson now will set up the offense for Gonzaga. Downs drives to the baseline. Downs, nobody posting up, so he buries the three.
I believe on the first time Micah touched the ball, he had a three and no one was guarding him. Now the third one, he's no one guarding him.
And the quick two by Damian Henderson at the other end.
And quickly, the Tigers pick up in a full court press, and this is where I was talking about. They got a look to attack.
Downs with 11, looking for more. Day with the rebound. He's blocked by Hall, number 1. And now the Tigers will move it quickly.
I think the Tigers are very comfortable in a kind of a hectic pace.
Shot missed by Miller. Goodson, the freshman out of Texas, driving into the paint, taken away by Burrell. And now Texas Southern, 2-on-2 break. Henderson, nice move in the finish. And now the Tigers with some momentum, still trailing by 14.
They are, and again, GU just has to look to break it. And look, they do a nice job getting the ball to the middle and having the defense collapse. And I believe that's Ira Brown's first attempt at a three-pointer.
And he buries it. Stephen Gray with a near steal. So Ira Brown with a big dunk and then showing some range. And now the crowd getting into the game. Turnover, Texas Southern, their third of the game.
Yeah, well, actually, there's a good penetration. Ira Brown spotting up at the three-pointer right in front of the Tiger bench. I was wrong. He did attempt one earlier this year. He was 0 for 1 going into the season. So now he's 1 for 2. Guess what? He's a 50% three-point shooter right now.
Which makes him best on the team.
Best on the team.
And I'm sure he's going to remind the coaching staff come Saturday. Coach, let me shoot out there. Gray from the corner. He rattles it in.
Talk about a young man that can shoot from out there. Stephen Gray.
So as a team, Gonzaga shooting 34% from three, and that's with Heitfeld shooting 47%. But tonight in this game, they're 6 of 8. And the turnover.
Well, that was
number 4 for Texas Southern.
Bad angle, if anything. Dribble over to the wing, get a better angle into the post. That straight down baseline or a bounce pass to the baseline. I don't think anybody can get that.
Tell you, I'm kind of impressed. This building certainly not full, but I would say it's 80% full, maybe 85%. Here's Heitfeld to the middle, shot away, no call, tipped around, grabbed by Texas Southern and Jock Jones. Jones able to drive to the middle, kick out. I guess Boyles didn't want anything to do with that. Boyles is actually hurting, I can tell. He's grimacing. Burrell misses. Heitfeld with a rebound over Austin Day.
Yeah, looks like Boyles holding his left hand right now. The Zags have an opportunity to go 4 on 5.
Day with a miss inside. Nice look from Micah down.
Oh, playing possum. Ricky Boyles playing possum. He was like, hey, I can't, oh, my left arm's hurting. Now all of a sudden, well, he grabbed it again, but he got himself a basket down on one end.
Timeout. Gonzaga leading at 33-15. Well, for those who thought that Gonzaga might be looking beyond this game to the University of Connecticut on Saturday, I think we can put that rumor and myth to bed.
I agree with you totally, and I got to think that the games that they did participate in Orlando, they played 3 games there. They went to Indianapolis, played there against Indiana, and then they went down to Washington State and Pullman. But tonight, boy, with the finals being canceled, these guys are shooting threes to celebrate that there are no more finals, and they're filling them up tonight.
Yeah, they're 7 of 9 from behind the arc,
including one by that man.
He needs to hit the weights.
Look, he's got 2 high percentage shots. He's got a dunk, which is a really high percentage shot, and a three-pointer, which is a high percentage shot in my book.
Well, for him, he's 1 of 2. That's 50%. That's high percentage in this game. Pargo back on the floor. Mark Few going with his 2 point guards. We saw this combination a lot against Arizona, and I think we'll see it a lot more throughout the season. Pargo the fall away. Heitfeld picks it up and drops it through. Yeah. What do you think of the 2-guard rotation with Goodson and Pargo out there at the same time?
I think it gives you a lot of options out there on the floor. I think Jeremy can score for you when he needs to, because, you know, if he elevates his game at any time, he elevates everybody's game, right? And sometimes that's in scoring, but I think you can use Meach and him to pressure full court, cause turnovers, and get lots of assists like that.
Heitfeld off the glass. Heitfeld now with 7 points.
And you know, Meach wants to play well for everybody back home watching in Houston. Texas Southern being from Houston.
Norwood too long. Burrell with a rebound. To Miller into the corner. Norwood driving on Pargo. What's the call? Offensive foul. The charge called on Solly Norwood, number 31. The senior out of Jackson, Mississippi. Gonzaga leading it big.
Knowledgeable people,
Welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. Greg Heister and Craig Elo for Gonzaga and Texas Southern. As we take a look at John Stockton there in attendance for this game. Head coach Tony Harvey quoted recently is why he's playing this type of schedule. First 12 on the road with the likes of Texas, Washington, Arkansas, Marquette, Cincinnati, and now Gonzaga. And this tells the story right here, Craig.
Yeah, running with the big dogs, and sometimes you got to sacrifice, and this is what Coach Harvey's willing to sacrifice, economics. And then, you know, he plays in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. They're picked anywhere from 5th to last in that conference, and he's saying that he can battle test his guys by playing a tough non-conference schedule and have them ready for the SWAC, and maybe that's where they make progress.
Gonzaga looking for more. Heitfeld wanted the lob to the rim. Downs, little jumper from the baseline, short. Heitfeld again swatting it out instead of grabbing the ball. Goodson, great save over midcourt. Bolden driving, tried to go to Downs. Bolden lucky not to be called on the foul. He was caught in the air there.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught in the air. You want to stay on the ground as much as you can. Matt was indecisive on that move particularly. He didn't know if he could shoot it. And at the last minute, it looked like he was going to get a charge, and then he tried to dump it off to Micah. But again, the Zags keeping the ball alive by tapping it to one another. By the way, Meach could be the triple jumper on that one play, saving the ball at midcourt.
Norwood thought about taking that shot. 5 on the shot clock. There's Norwood near the corner. Shot way off. Out of bounds.
Yeah, it's got to be
Gonzaga basketball. Let's talk a little bit more about what Coach Harvey said in that interview. And number one, it's a shame that it's about finances.
Yeah.
But that is the way it is now in all college athletics, primarily football and basketball. But the question I have is, for a team like this to get them battle tested, I get that. But this battle test, I mean, this is brutal. You're starting, you have a shot at, nice lob there from Gray to Heitfeld. You have a real opportunity of starting your season at 0-12. You're 0-9 now, going to be 0-10 after tonight.
I think you're a reflection of your coach. I think you take on the demeanor of your coach. And by not being afraid to play this tough of a non-conference schedule, I think he feels like he can keep his players in tune and get them ready for his conference play. That's my take on it. I think he just thinks, I mean, look at him. He's very dramatic. He's very charismatic over there. I think he looks for his players to follow his lead. But it can take a beating on you, too. If you go 0-12, I mean, it downright beats you.
Heitfeld now 10 of 20 on the season from behind the arc. That's an even 50%, if my math is right. That's impressive for a guy at 6'11". I can think of a guy in the NBA named Dirk Nowitzki who can shoot like that.
Yeah, and the
that size.
They have the advantage. Oh, look at Pargo sneak up behind him and just take the ball away from Jock Jones.
Great lead. Heitfeld. Oh, boy.
You know, I wasn't even actually watching the dunk above the rim. I was watching his legs. Did you see the little kick that he had in there? That's a little twist Josh has added to his dunks.
He's got 14 points, 5 rebounds. He's scored the last 11 now for Gonzaga. Pargo, great feed.
See that little kick back? You saw that? Yeah, that was a great feed. Look at that, one-handed. Here it is. Oops.
Jones thought about taking the charge, and then he said, no, his knees are too high. That's too close to my nose.
Oh, he felt Josh's high felt pressure right there of dunking that ball on him. That's why he got out of the way.
Well, you know, I guess you can't really tell a whole lot because it's Texas Southern, but the one thing that is obvious to me, Craig, is that this team is playing with a lot more energy than when we saw them against the University of Arizona. Oh. They could not match the emotion of the Wildcats down there, in my opinion.
No, and having been a player in the NBA, you know, and on those road trips where you go 2 weeks sometimes and play game after game on the road, it wears on you sometimes. And I'm sure the Zags, even though they were able to come back after the Indiana game and only go down to Pullman for that, and so they were back at home for a while. But the confines of this building, the security they have in this place is unbelievable.
Be sure to join us or stay with us at halftime on FSN. We'll go back to the studio with Nicole and Lamar Hurd. On KHQ, we'll get you all the latest on the winter storm coverage. Actually, it's Francis who's still back in the studio with Nicole. 10 on the shot clock. Here's the drive. Rebound by Jones, and he's fouled by Micah Downs.
Well, I got to believe that.
Josh Heitfeld off to a tremendous start for Gonzaga. 15 points. He had the big dump. Nice three-point shot. Gonzaga up big. And welcome back. Gonzaga leading Texas Southern 44-17. Josh Heitfeld, 6 of 9, 15 points, 5 rebounds. Of course, against the University of Arizona last week, 6 points, 7 rebounds. I know after that game, Mark Few admitted that he did not get enough out of his number 4 and his number 5 down the stretch of that game, and he challenged Josh in this game. Josh, you are the guy on this team. You've got to come out and play hard every night, or we got a chance to lose.
Well, the one thing that we didn't show on that was Josh played 34 minutes in that game, which is extended from what he's normally used to playing. And I think maybe against a top team like Arizona, and they got a top player in Jordan Hill, maybe he expended a little bit too much energy out there. Didn't have it on the offensive end for him because of that.
And we haven't talked about it yet, but Robert Sacre, the 7-foot sophomore out of North Vancouver, did not play in that game against Arizona. It's not sure when he's going to be back. He's injured that foot again with the stress fracture in it. And Coach Jew admitted to me that, look, if we had Robert in that game, then Josh gets more breaks. He's better when we can get him in and out of the game and coming in with fresh legs.
Yeah, I played with against a guy named Cornbread Maxwell. He used that same analogy. I'm better at 30 minutes a game. I'll get you more stats in that period of time than I would in 40 minutes of the game.
And so that's what's interesting as we look ahead to the University of Connecticut. Obviously, that team is really big at the 4 and 5. Josh is going to have to play a lot, and we may see the likes of Will Foster making appearances in that game because Robert Sacre will not play again on Saturday.
Yeah, his foot's in the boot again.
And there's a shot clock violation. Gonzaga unable to score. Not a good possession there, coming off a timeout as we look at Robert Sacre. 7 feet. He's a mountain.
Always looking raw,
but he's a mountain.
He's always looking good too, doesn't he?
Well, he'll tell you he is.
Yeah, he will. He will definitely tell you that. He definitely feels
he is
comfortable in his own skin.
A delightful guy, Robert Sacre. He's fun to be around, actually.
Oh, he's colorful. He is very colorful.
Hamid Ford, number 12, into the game. He's got the basketball now for Texas Southern, a freshman out of L.A. 5 on the shot clock. Into the corner. Burrell doesn't know how much time's left and then throws up the desperation heave.
I don't think in all the years of basketball I've seen 2 possessions, 2 35-second clocks expired. Didn't Zags turn the ball over down on their end?
Yes. That is 2 possessions in a row.
2 possessions in a row.
And that officially makes those 2 possessions not very good.
No, those are the ones you don't want.
Kind of boring basketball.
Boring basketball, exactly. You don't want to see it. Although I would.
You know something? There's 30 inches of snow outside, and I'm not shoveling.
No, but we can go sledding.
So to me,
afterwards.
it was a beautiful thing. Here's Bolden inside off the glass.
Matt continuing to have a great half for the Zags. Doing a little bit of everything. He's the one guy you always like to read about in the paper because what did he do on Sunday? He played sick. And look at the dimes going around Gonzaga. Got 15 of them going there. That's good when you got 15 assists. That means you're distributing and sharing the wealth.
Texas Southern now 8 of 24 shooting. They're struggling getting the ball in the hole. And Bolden with another 3. Gonzaga now 9 of 11. Bolden 3 of 4. He's got 11 points.
Well, it's just like you tell a kid not to do something, and what does he do? He goes out and does it, right? I'm sure the Zags, after that poor performance at 3-point shooting in Phoenix, were told not to shoot so many threes, but what do? They go right out and knock down 9 of 11 in the first half.
Heitfeld going to be called on a foul here. I guess not. They gave the foul on Ricky Boyles. Sure looked like Heitfeld was over the back to me.
Well, it's all for nothing because Matt Bolden's outshining all of them right now. Great drive to the basket, using the backboard that time, knocking down a three. He's got 11 first half points. That's his average for the year, so Matt having a fantastic first half.
Gonzaga's made their last 6 shots. For the game, they're 19 of 30. That's 63%. Under a minute now to play in the first half. Day of fall away. And you let him catch the ball there, and that shooting percentage is only going to go up.
Yeah, that's one of Austin's best plays, is getting the defender right on him and then falling away using that 6'11" frame to get the shot off.
Fargo stripped from behind. This is Henderson. Day with a block. No. The foul call. He did block the ball, but he picked up the personal foul as well.
His right hand was up in the air blocking the shot, and it looks like the official is calling the left hand on the body, and then we'll see. Our body, that's pretty clean. Austin having a little fun with the fans, saying, you know, I think that was pretty clean, but
Henderson at the free throw line. I will say this. Austin's never had a foul called against him that he's liked. He may have been right about that one.
He's got that one for sure. He had a lot of room in between him and the shooter that time.
Henderson out of, how do I say this, Craig? Texarkana, Texas?
Texarkana.
Texarkana.
Texarkana. It's right between, it's on the tip of Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana.
There you go. Of course, you grew up in Texas, so you know all about the landscape down there.
Well, it'll take you 4 days to drive from Texarkana to El Paso. That's how big
true.
the state
That's
is.
That's not true. That's just not true.
Okay, 24 hours.
I could see that.
Okay.
I'm not sure I buy that, but I could see that.
That's a little more doable.
5 on the clock. Fargo drives, hangs, hits.
That was Purdy.
Miller at the buzzer, short. Big half for the Zags. They lead it 53-19. And Tony Harvey, I tell you, he cannot get too upset with his team. This is the 10th game that they've been on the road.
I know. And not used to the 30 inches of snow outside getting in yesterday, right?
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
And having to move around town in that big bus. Gonzaga ends that first half on an 18-2 run. They lead it 53-19, led by Heitfeld's 15, Downs and Bolden each with 11. Gonzaga shooting 65%, and they're up big. Halftime, straight ahead.
The Gonzaga Bulldogs were red hot tonight from the start, out to a 20-4 lead over Texas Southern. Ira Brown with a flush, and he isn't the only Zag that is putting on a show tonight. 53-19, Gonzaga leads this when we look at the first half stats. A little bit lopsided, I'd say. Gonzaga Bulldogs absolutely dominating the Texas Southern Tigers. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Nicole Zalubis alongside Francis Williams, and welcome to our College Hoops Northwest halftime coverage. Francis, Gonzaga came ready to play tonight. As I mentioned, we had the 20-4 run, the alley-oop jam, an array of threes. What impressed you the most?
Well, you know, when you can hold your opponent to 19 points, shoot 65% from the field, go 9 for 11 from 3, and have 5 different guys make a three-pointer, there's not much that you can really say that they didn't do well in the first half. Obviously a lesser opponent with Texas Southern, but coming off the loss to Arizona, you see the Zags trying to execute their offense, move the basketball, get everyone involved, and playing with a lot of intensity. So a good half of basketball for Texas Southern, although it is against a lesser opponent. You're impressed by the fact that they came out and played hard and didn't play down.
Now, are you surprised by how well they're doing? We knew it, would be a little bit lopsided, but this is a blowout, basically.
No, I'm not surprised. I think Craig was very accurate in saying this is their 10th straight game on the road. It's their second trip out to the West Coast. So Texas Southern has to be worn down just a little bit. But again, Gonzaga's a good team, and they're coming off a loss, so they were going to be ready to roll tonight.
All right, well, in our pregame show, our keys to the game were to show up and warm up. Gonzaga obviously showed up in the first half. From what we've seen, what are the keys to close this one out?
Well, I think they just have to continue to play with a lot of intensity and not be content with the fact that they have this huge halftime lead. I think that's very, very important. Keep playing good defense and just play a complete 40-minute game. And then lastly, drive home safely.
Drive home safely. All right, well, coming up tonight on FSN, after the conclusion of this game, we're going to replay the matchup, of course. But going back to this matchup, with what you've seen here tonight, do you think it's going to be just as bad?
No, I really don't. No, it'll probably stay about the same.
Okay, all right. Well, stick around for Greg Heister and Craig Elo calling all the action. It's 8th-ranked Gonzaga dominating Texas Southern in the first half. They're leading 53-19. As I said, we are going to repeat this game after the conclusion of this game. So we have all basketball all night right here on FSN.
Leading at the half by 34 points, and as you might expect, a lot of the numbers back that up as we take a look at the Christmas spirit inside McCarthy Athletic Center here tonight. I just feel good, Craig, because I feel as though we're offering a reprieve from all that shoveling that's been going on around the inland Northwest, so we thank you for that. All right, let's take a look at the numbers now, and of course, Gonzaga just shooting the lights out.
Oh, no kidding. And what did Dorothy say when she clicked her heels? There's no place like home. Well, the Zags are doing that, just filling it up from outside. 9 of 11 from three-pointers, including Ira Brown. But here's the guy. If you don't get out there and guard him, he's 6'11". He'll knock it down on you. And then Matt Bolden had just an absolutely fun half for the Zags. Matt did it all. A couple of steals, got a couple of assists, a few rebounds, and even scored a few baskets.
Yeah, Gonzaga with 3 players in double figures, and Ira Brown, of course, giving everybody the opportunity to get up out of that seat. Matt Bolden with the steal, the look up, and Ira Brown with another highlight. Gonzaga up big, 53-19 at the half. And welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. Gonzaga leading Texas Southern by 34 at the half. Greg Heister and Craig Elo. And Craig, Josh Heitfeld scored just 6 points against the University of Arizona in that loss. He's been challenged, and it's obvious he's responded tonight.
Oh, no question. He came out very offensive-minded. Scored 15 first-half points on a plethora of shots, including a three-pointer from outside. Couple of free throws. I think he was very aggressive with the ball, and I think his teammates were actually looking for him. And there you saw him run the floor again, what he does so well that I don't think any other GU big guy that we've seen in the past runs as well as he does.
For one stretch that was nearly 7 minutes long, Heitfeld scored Gonzaga's all 11 points, so he had a really nice stretch in that first half. Gonzaga, the entire team shooting it well at 66%. Turnovers. I think those numbers are reversed. It's actually 4 for Gonzaga, 7 for Texas Southern. So they're taking care of the ball.
Well, and that's the whole point, is that Zags need to turn those points or turnovers into points, and we saw them do that tonight.
The energy is back. It must be time to start the second half when we come back. And welcome back. As we said earlier, finals were canceled today on the campus at Gonzaga. When I say canceled, some were literally canceled. Others were given to the students in an online fashion, so they still had to take the test. Others were canceled. But the fact of the matter is, finals are officially over, Craig, so it is a night of celebration. Their Zag basketball team is home. The first semester is over. It's on to the holiday break now for many of these students, and this is who remains. And we were not sure, because of this winter storm as we begin the second half, of how many people were going to come to the McCarthy Athletic Center tonight. But I would bet there's over 5,000 of the 6,000 that can fit into this building.
I was going to say, this is the first time I've been in the building when a basketball game, other than Dan Dickow's charity game, where every seat has not been full.
As we have a whistle inside, this will be on number 3, Matthew Miller. It was Henderson with the miss at the other end for Texas Southern. And it'll be Gonzaga basketball on the inbound. Damian Henderson getting the start for Texas Southern instead of DeAndre Hall. The starters are the same for Gonzaga to start the second half.
I'm actually looking at the minutes here. DeAndre Hall, one of the better players for Texas Southern, only played 6 minutes if there's not an injury that we didn't know about. He only had 1 basket. But DeAndre Hall has started all 8 games for Coach Harvey, played 29 minutes, shooting the ball pretty darn well and averaging 14 points.
We just had a stat slid to us by our stat genius Brock here that explained the fact that Hall had scored 11 points in his first several games, and since then down to like 6. So yeah, obviously Coach Harvey not happy with his offensive output over the last few games, and so it's Henderson earning some time. As Boyles with the miss, Pargo with the height felt, tried to throw it in but couldn't. Did a great job just to catch it.
Well, I think the long road ahead of Coach Harvey is that, you know, he's going to have to build this school has built their program around JUCO players in the past, and I think Coach Harvey, being noted as one of the best recruiters when he was at Missouri in the country, is looking to build freshmen to help build the program, and I think that's what's going to happen. But there's a good look at DeAndre Hall sitting on the bench.
Yeah, Harvey in his first season at Texas Southern came from the University of Missouri, as you said. He was there for a long time, part of a lot of those great Missouri teams that went deep into the NC2A tournament with great players like Kareem Rush. So he knows a good basketball player when he sees him.
Yeah, and I think the athletic director Johnny Cole down at TSU has said this about him: Coach Harvey knows how to build a top basketball program and knows how to win. He is what TSU needs right now, and even though it doesn't look like it with an 0-9 record, but already we saw the great quote about the economics of the whole situation, playing a tougher non-conference schedule. I think he's really looking to do something down there at Texas Southern in his first stint as a head coach.
Travel. Ricky Boyles with a turnover, the junior out of Los Angeles. A lot of players out of LA, in the Houston area, Las Vegas. So Coach Harvey able to get into some of the major metropolitan areas in the West and pull some good talented players up.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting in a hotbed down there. We got Dimitri Goodson out of Houston, Spring, Texas, actually, which is right outside of Houston. But I mean, there's a lot of players down there.
Pargo off the glass. Nice spin. Henderson, great ball fake, pump fake. Missed the shot to Drewy. And Pargo with a head of steam. Threw it away. A couple of turnovers this half by Pargo. Henderson doing a great job to shield off Downs with his body and then able to lay it in.
Well, if you're Gonzaga, you don't want to fall prey to playing to the level of your competition, so you better take care of the basketball on one end of the floor. Value each possession no matter what the score is. Make sure you get an opportunity to at least shoot the basketball.
Ira Brown. That had a lot of arc to it, but it won't drop through.
It went straighter than his fastball. That's what he told me. He said, I had no control of my fastball. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Didn't know where it was going.
Of course, Ira, a former minor league baseball player, as Craig says, could throw in the mid to high 90s. So certainly a prospect in baseball for quite some time that just could not get him to figure out where he was going to throw it, but boy, could he throw it hard. Yeah,
and you know, what a great opportunity to go back to school. Actually played junior college down in Phoenix in basketball, and now he's got an opportunity to play for one of the top programs in the country, Gonzaga University.
And he's 26 years old, so what an advantage that is to come play with much younger players. And there's a big shot from the corner by Henderson.
You don't realize what having a 26-year-old on your team means to your team, especially on the road, because you're all together all the time, and Ira is going to make good decisions all the time, because you know, you and I at 22, we made bad decisions, didn't we? I still do, I guess.
A few, yeah.
All right. But yeah, having a 26-year-old to help you keep your guys in line is great for Mark Few.
Gonzaga still leading Texas Southern big. We'll be back. Some crazy order, but it's a lot of miles.
Or how about the one where they go from Houston to Washington in Seattle and then come back and play Texas in Austin and now back up to Spokane playing the GU Bulldogs. So, yeah, they've been the frequent flyer miles. We didn't talk about that, did we?
They still honor those?
I hope so.
Heitfeld trying to score inside. Will find his way to the free throw line.
Well, GU coming out at half now. We got a 9-9 ball game in the second half. It was 53-19 at half, and now it's 62-28. GU playing even with Texas Southern right now. You don't want to see that. That time coming out of a timeout, got right down and dirty, doing what the Zags do best, that high-low action. Josh Heitfeld locked and sealed his man. Stephen Gray saw it, dropped it right over the top.
Heitfeld hits them both. You do know that if they play him even in the second half, the Zags still win by 34.
That is a great point. That is a super point.
I mean,
well, see, you and I as fans see that, and they still win by 34, but coaches see it as a half and a half. I mean, that's
yeah,
why.
no, and I understand the point that you're making. I get that. But it's still, you know, you're talking about beating another Division I team by more than 40. I mean, that's really what you're getting.
I heard the students say up by 30 or 40 a while ago. So
I mean, how often? I mean, that just doesn't happen that often.
No.
40-point win.
No. Oh, not a super pass.
It could happen in this game, though.
It could. If Pargo makes passes like that and Josh Heitfeld locks and seals his guy and then slips to the rim like he just did, then it could get pretty nasty in here for Texas Southern.
Hall driving with the left hand. This is Jones, and they'll reset it. Matthew Miller with it, number 3 out on top. 7 on the shot clock. Miller into the corner. Shot by Henderson is no good. Rebound Heitfeld. Here's Pargo near side. Lob. Brown. Great catch. Downs couldn't make the catch there.
I'm going to go back to that possession with Texas Southern. I just didn't like what I saw in that whole particular situation. There was a lot of confusion going on. It looked like everybody was looking like, where am I supposed to be? And when that happens, Matthew Miller just has to dribble. And then he tried to come off of a screen, and there was nowhere to go because the defense was good. It just looks like they are just not in sync with each other in Coach Harvey's first year. Discombobulated is the word I was looking for.
Discombobulated. Golden playing defense there inside. May have affected that shot. Pargo now back on the break. Kick out today. Lost the handle.
Tried to go through the wickets, didn't he?
Well, the one thing that does not bode well or will not work well in this program as Day misses the shot is if you dribble too much.
Yeah. Oh.
That is one thing that they break. Gonzaga will try and break from every player that comes into this program. We don't like you dribbling too much.
Yeah, you don't pound the ball and just pound the ball because there's no reason to. The ball moves faster when you pass it.
Ray inside. And the kick to Bolden, who fires 3. No good.
And if you recruit that way, let's just take Memphis, for example, or Pepperdine, the coach down there that developed the DDDPD, whatever it is, dribble, drive, penetration thing, you know.
Hey, you're the basketball expert here.
Well, you got to recruit athletes like that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Gonzaga is not that kind of an offensive scheme-minded team, so they're going to recruit athletes that play within their system. And I don't think we see a lot of guys actually pounding the ball very much for GU.
Well, the player that I think most speaks to the example that I'm talking about was Derek Rivio. When he came to this program, liked to dribble it like Jason Williams does in the NBA, or did in the NBA. Is he still playing?
He's just retired, but he's got a ring down there at Miami.
But you know the way he used to dribble? I mean, that's what Rivio did, and they were able to cure him, and Derek turned into one of the better guards that this program's in.
Well, and then when Pargo came, what did he actually do? Moved down to the shooting guard and found a position there and scored points for the Zags that way.
And a foul inside on Texas Southern. This will be the 4th against them this half.
Well, I know in the situations I've been in where you've been up with a big lead and you're in your offensive sets, coaches are saying just work it as much as you can, you know, in that 35 seconds. Try to get something out of this. That is a great inbounds pass by Matt Bolden.
Boy, what an advantage that is. We go from 6'10" Austin Day to 7'5" Will Foster. And Gray, the deep three, no good from the corner.
But I think you don't want to get playing, you know, up and down with the score being it is. You still want to execute on the offensive end. And then on the defensive end, you still want to get stops. And that's a hard thing to coach when the players look up at the scoreboard and say, gosh, we're up by 40, you know? But it doesn't make you any better, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Basically, when you do your offense and you do stuff and you don't go one-on-one, then it makes your team better. And they better get better because they're playing a big-time program on Saturday.
Goodson flies to the rim. Foul is called. 11:48 to play. Josh Heitfeld, 21 points, 7 rebounds. The easy finish there from Jeremy Pargo.
So,
well, we're going to take a look at Craig's eggs now. Gonzaga's keys, and take a look and see how they're doing, Craig.
Well, they've done pretty darn well. Look at that, 21 assists, only 6 turnovers, so they've handled the pressure, and they have actually scored a lot of points and boxed out and rebound where they've actually gotten, look at that big margin there. 15 difference. GU 29 rebounds, Texas Southern 14, and then the extra effort is the way I've come to know and grown with GU basketball, is it's given that extra effort. 15 points off of the turnovers by Texas Southern means that you're doing the little things to make them turn the ball over and then converting those into points.
There's a look at Dimitri Goodson. An electric freshman point guard for Mark Few.
You know, and they're very happy with the progress of Dimitri Goodson. You know, if you compare his numbers to Pargo's numbers as a freshman, they're very comparable. And I don't think you can ever, you know, walk in Pargo's shoes, but Dimitri's got a good, you know, athletic ability to become a very good player for GU in 4 years.
Well, if he can make his game about defense. As he picks up the foul there, and number 15, Jacques Jones, goes to the free throw line. If he can make his game about defense, if he can bring as much energy to that part of the floor, I think Dimitri Goodson has the opportunity to make just as large an impact at point guard as some of the greats here, only in his own way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I know exactly. I'm thinking of like Blake Stepp and
I mean, great offensive players.
We're great offensive players. I think Dimitri Goodson is so good on defense that he could be a one-man press.
Right.
And steal the basketball, make baskets really quick for the Zags. But then also in the half-court defensive situation, he's able to help when his man doesn't have the ball, get in there into the passing lanes, or he can strip his man and get a steal that way too. But yeah, on defense, I totally agree with you. I think he can convert a lot of his offense just by having good defense.
He can be as good defensively as they were offensively.
Yeah, no question about it. And I'm telling you, he is just cat quick, and he loves to play it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is his defense is always talked about as being just pure hustle, but it's got to come from an attitude and a desire. And I think Dimitri possessed both of those.
Gonzaga's missed 7 of their last 8 shots.
Uh-oh.
Will Foster called for goaltending.
I don't think that ball had a chance to get to the rim.
It may have.
He should have just grabbed
made its way to the baseline.
It was floating.
It was well short. In fact, I think Will could have blocked this with his shoulder.
Yeah, I think he just could have grabbed that sucker. But you know what? Sometimes you got to make a statement.
Is that the time right there?
That's the time, you know. Listen to the students behind us. They loved it. The ball went in the front row.
They're booing. They didn't agree with the call, Craig.
Well, with Robert Socrates' foot in a boot,
right,
the development of Will Foster is essential for this GU right now.
And there's a block, a good block by Will Foster.
And that's what he brings to the game is, you know, 7'5" and the length on him. He's going to change a lot of shots, and it's going to be hard to shoot over him. And he's actually a great practice player to have in practice because GU's used to playing against a big guy because of Will Foster being in there all the time.
And Gonzaga's going to need quality minutes, I think, against Connecticut from Will Foster.
Yeah.
If Josh Heitfeld gets in any sort of foul trouble, Will's going to have to play, and he's going to have to play well. And Mark Few knows that Josh Heitfeld isn't a 40-minute type player. We've got to be able to get him in and out of the game, and Will Foster's got to play into that. It can't be Ira Brown playing the number 5 the entire game.
No, well, Ira had trouble against Jordan Hill when he had to go against him down in Phoenix with Arizona. But Hashim Thabit, I read a quote from him in Sports Illustrated. Like Yao Ming is the face of China, he wants to be the face of Africa. And I tell you what, the guy is 7'3". I've had him at those Nike skills, and it's going to be tough for Josh Heitfeld to play a full game against him. So yeah, I agree with you that Will Foster may have to play some minutes in that game.
Yeah, he's 7'3", 265.
He's huge.
Yeah, gigantic.
And very agile.
Nice finish there by DeAndre Hall. And it gets it to a 35-point Gonzaga lead.
Matter of fact, you're better at your African than me. He is, Hashim Thabit is from where?
I say Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
I like that.
Will Foster, jump hook. Well short, may have been blocked.
Well, and if you're wondering if it's short, I think Will Foster is very good with both hands. His right or left hand, but he is left-handed. He shot that one right-handed, and they've been working diligently, and specifically Coach Giacoletti with him developing both hands so he'll be able to go. And I think Coach Giacoletti told him one time that the one thing that he always heard from Coach John Wooden when he was coaching Lou Alcindor was the dunk was not, you couldn't do it when Lou Alcindor played in the NCAAs.
Yeah.
So he had to learn to shoot with both hands and develop both hands. And that's the kind of teaching that the young man's getting from Coach Giacoletti.
Texas Southern just looking to shoot the threes now. Jones well off there.
Well, I think they just want to get out of here before the next snow comes.
Sunday, I guess. There's more coming. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Oh.
Heitfeld with the obvious foul there.
Nothing flagrant at all in the foul. Josh went up for the block, and Drury was stayed on the ground, so he showed him, but with the left hand, Josh grabbed him from behind, and nothing intentional at all.
That's the first foul against Heitfeld.
And see, it turns out to be a smart foul because Drury was on the floor, so there was no shot. So the ball's taken out of bounds.
And here's Drury with it again. It's got to be tough for Texas Southern just to stay positive in a game like this. I mean, they're struggling at times just to find open shots as Hall buries the contested shot there as Andrew Sorensen was flying through his periphery.
But then again, when you take your team to Texas, El Paso, Cincinnati, Marquette, Arkansas, Washington, Texas, and Gonzaga, don't you think, I mean, you're getting a chance to play a top 10 team right now?
I understand, and I think that's all wonderful. Okay. I think it's all wonderful. And we'll talk about it more when we come back, but I'm just worried about the psyche of my team if we're getting beat this badly all the time. 7:40 to play.
Hi, we're here for Sign and Drive.
Hi.
I just leased a Passat for no money down. She wants one too. Or a Jetta. A Passat. A Jetta. A Passat. A Jetta. A Passat.
Our new computer can match you to the perfect Volkswagen. Then you drive it away.
Signature reveals a need for safety and
welcome back. Let's talk more now about this road trip for Texas Southern. Now 10 games long, going to be 12 before it's all over. Their average margin of loss this season is nearly 16 points a game, Craig. And I understand. Look, the bottom line is this program needs cash.
Yep.
That is why they're doing this.
Economics.
Okay? So let's set that aside. We understand, we get that. But as the head coach, I'm worried about the psyche of my team as we go farther and look forward towards league. Have they built confidence now getting beat by these margins?
You know, I'd have to say no. You can't build confidence in the way you lose games, but you know, you get to play against top-ranked teams. That's the one thing that you can build on. But, boy, when you lose by a deficit like you're losing tonight, then it could really hurt your team.
But don't you have to find some more teams that maybe you have a chance to win? I mean, I guess obviously they'll set up the schedule and they're going to fantasize when they make it that, you know, geez, what if we could go to Gonzaga and win? What if we could go to, you know, Marquette and win, or Texas? What if we could upset the Texas Longhorns? How great would that be? And everybody thinks you can always win the game. I mean, you're not a competitor if you don't.
No, and you got to. That's the only way.
But as the coach, you've got to be realistic, right?
Oh, yeah, you look up there, and how many games have they lost in this building?
Yeah.
2?
Yeah, you don't tell your players that.
No, that's
and your
in the
coach,
back of your mind.
who is responsible for making the schedule, you have to be realistic. But with all that said, the program needs cash, and they're getting it. Heitfeld missed it. Sorensen kept it alive.
Well,
and deflected it off of a Tiger.
You also feel sorry for guys like Solly Norwood, who was a great player for his team last year. He's a senior, right?
6 of them.
6 of them, yeah. That doesn't get a lot of playing time because Coach Harvey's probably looking from this point on to build his program and not going to use those guys like Solly Norwood.
Ira Brown inside. And you know, look, I'm not someone who, let's go down this road. I'm not someone who thinks that college athletes should be paid. But when these sorts of things are happening, okay, when these kids are going on the road and they're being handed, the school is being handed cash for them to play, my mind begins to change on that subject.
Yeah, you're making money for the school.
You're bringing in direct dollars based on your ability to go on the road and get beat.
Yeah, you should be rewarded for that. And
Sorensen from the corner, and that'll make some noise in here. The very popular walk-on from Olympia, Washington, Andrew Sorensen.
I tell you what, this young man is not afraid to shoot the 3 ball. All 3, now 4 career field goals are from beyond the arc. Boy, Michael
Stealer by Downs, yes. And a travel called on Hall.
Okay, I'm going to have a talk with Will Foster because he blocked that one too, and he could just grab it, right?
Where do you stand on this whole pay-to-play deal?
Well,
I mean, look, Gonzaga was in this position as we take a look at the block inside by Will Foster.
Yeah, there's the first
and then the 3 at the other end.
Look at that, Andrew. No question, totally behind the new college line down there in the corner. Gonzaga, another one.
Gonzaga now with 6 players to hit a shot from behind the arc. But Craig, Gonzaga was in that position at one time, I'm sure, where they had to go out and look for games where they would get paid to play. They're no longer. It's changed. They're now paying to get teams to come in here as Will Foster hits, and of course the crowd goes nuts. Where do you stand on all of this, and is it good for college athletics? And I know it's the only way Texas Southern is going to keep their athletic department together. I get that.
Yeah, and you probably say, watch Will Foster clean this up, though, off an Ira Brown mess. Nice job of going after the board. But, you know, it's a tough one because you say, gee, you was in that situation, you know, early 90s, late 80s or whatever, and they probably did a little bit of their, you know, selling of their soul to get some economic situations right. And at the expense of the players, basically. And I think I totally agree with you. There should be some type of reward. Now, people will argue with me over and over that the scholarship is basically the reward, right? Because school and tuition, books, and room and board is very expensive.
I get that, okay? And I understand that argument, and I'm not going to get into the amount of money that Texas Southern is getting to come on the road and play these games, because it's a big chunk of money, okay?
Yeah, no.
Far,
get a lot
far more than what a scholarship is worth. And now you project it over 12 games. I'm not talking about programs who are doing it 2 or 3 or 4 times, but a program that's doing it 12 times.
Then, you know, it's a tough one because the administration has to decide, you know, how that money gets spent and used. I mean, do they need equipment? Do they need recruiting utensils? Do they need, you know, all kinds of things? So I think when these guys look back at their legacy at Texas Southern, then, you know, yeah, it'll probably be looked upon as y'all had an 0-9 record or 0-10-12 record. But, you know, 10 years from now, it may change the way Texas Southern brings a recruit in because they have the equipment to do that now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It's just when you see it used at this sort of level, I mean, it opens up a lot of debate in my mind on whether or not it's right. It's Goodson.
Yeah.
And here you can see his speed as he regains control of the dribble and then goes to the middle and draws the foul. I mean, this is not a program who's earned its way and is, banking money on TV contracts or, ticket sales or things like that, and building a program based on what they've accomplished. They are using these players to go on the road and earn a paycheck.
Yeah.
And that, to me, opens up a lot of debate on whether or not these players should be earning some of that money.
Well, been a player in that situation, I would have loved to gotten some of that money, to tell you the truth, because you put in a lot of extra work.
Dimitri Goodson with his 5th point of the game and Gonzaga's largest lead now at 42, 4:19 to play.
Dimitri Goodson.
All right, I'll get off my soapbox. We're done on that subject. I know I saw the sweat coming above your brow. What's Heister going to make me talk about here?
Oh, my goodness. Well, no, it's a good point to be made. Do you sacrifice it at the expense of young men?
Look, you were at Washington State in 1983, 84, 85 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Things were a lot different then, Craig.
Well, oil was about $75 a barrel. Gas was $1.15 a gallon.
A loaf of bread was what? I mean, a stamp was what, 8 cents?
8 cents, maybe 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodson drives to the middle, and Dimitri having himself a nice second half.
Right, he's using some quickness to get from the wing to the paint. What, had taken 2 dribbles to get there? That was pretty darn quick.
He is
nice
bouncy.
finish.
He's got a career high now, 7 points for Goodson. That shot is off by Hamid Ford. The thing about Goodson, it just seems like in 4 dribbles, even though he's only 5'9", but it seems like he takes about 4 dribbles and he's gone the entire length of the floor.
Yeah, they do.
He's got these really enormous strides.
Yeah, and pushes the ball out in front of him, just like you want a point guard to do, in control. But they got a drill and practice that they warm up with, and they try to get Dimitri to run at least 4 dribbles to the rim, all the way to the rim, and he can do it very easily. And Pargo can't do it so easily, and it frustrates Jeremy. I shouldn't have said that because he's going to listen to this. And he's going to tell me all about it.
He'll corner you somewhere, my man. Nice teardrop by Matthew Miller. And now watch
See,
this.
there was 2 dribbles and he was midcourt.
I can't get over how quick that is. I mean, look, foot speed is one thing, but the ability to dribble the ball just 3 or 4 times and bingo, you're in position to make a pass, to score. Foster. Brown with a finish.
A little payback. Ira missed one earlier. Will cleaned it up. That time Will saw Ira out of the corner of his eye and winked at Ira and said, "I'm going to miss this. You clean mine up." And that's exactly what happened.
Our first look at Deontay Jones, number 32. 6'8", 215-pound freshman out of Las Vegas for Texas Southern.
And if you're wondering, Texas Southern plays in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. There's some good schools. Grambling State, Prairie View A&M, Jackson State, Arkansas Pine Bluff. A common opponent there is Mississippi, or not common opponent for GU, but for Washington State. Mississippi Valley State came up and played Washington State. And then Southern out of New Orleans is a great conference, or a great school. So that's a fantastic conference that they play in.
Ira Brown lost it out of bounds. When I think of the SWAC, I think of college football and Steve McNair and Jerry Rice. 84-40, we'll be back. Go up big on Texas Southern, 84-40. Greg Heister and Craig Elo. I tell you, the thing that's very concerning for me as I sit here is that we've been indoors now for about 3 hours. And in the 3 hours previous to that, there were it seemed like about 2 feet of snow that fell. So who knows what we're going to go home to here when we leave this building.
No, I watched the Weather Channel today. They said it all moved south of us, so you don't have to worry about any snow.
It went south, so there's no new snow. No more shoveling to do tonight?
No.
Guaranteed?
You're guaranteed. I guarantee it.
All right, Joe Namath. And if you're wrong, Elo, you're going to meet me at my driveway.
You don't have a driveway.
Oh, that's right.
You park in the street.
Okay, you'll meet me on my street. My street is a mess, by the way. It's unbelievable how much snow has fallen in this part of the world over the last 36 hours. I mean, it is literally unbelievable. There's Goodson inside. Shot was blocked. Will Foster picked it up. He lost the handle, and now DeAndre Hall with it for Texas Southern. Tigers moving it around. And Goodson with the rebound. Now, I grew up south of Buffalo in the snow belt, lived a long time in Alaska. I've never seen anything like this.
Never?
Oh,
No
Elo.
whiteouts.
This is a historical weather moment in history, I'm telling you. The past 36 hours. Of course, it set all kinds of 24-hour records for the city of Spokane.
Yeah, we blew away some records here. No
But I'm talking anywhere on the planet. This was a monumental time. I'm glad I was here. It's been great. And that'll do it. 10 seconds left in the game. And the fans that have stuck around giving their Zags a standing ovation. And Gonzaga now will set their sights on the University of Kansas. A matchup between two top 10 teams as Kansas, Connecticut.
I had you on Dorothy when I said there's no place like home, so yeah.
No, I just think that I got a bit frostbitten here in the last 36 hours. But Tony Harvey and Mark Few greeting each other there, exchanging pleasantries, and now Texas Southern will hope to get home here in the next couple of days.
Well, we talked about it earlier. You can chalk this one up for experience. I mean, just an experience for your kids to come here and experience the kennel, know what it's like to play against the top-ranked team. Because they got nothing else out of it. You know, a 42-point loss, like you said, is bad for your psyche, and I totally agree with you on that one.
Now they go to the University of Idaho to play the Vandals. Then they'll get a chance to well, then they have to play the Air Force Academy, so they won't go home prior to that either, I bet.
No, they'll probably go straight from Moscow to Colorado Springs, there where Air Force Academy is.
And then their first home game will be against Portland State on the 27th of December. So they'll get, I'm sure, a few days off around Christmas. All right, we're going to take a timeout. Gonzaga with a 42-point win over Texas Southern. We've got 4 players in double figures. We'll come back with a lot more. Josh Heitfeld, big game, 21.7 rebounds. Josh, I don't want to say you were struggling coming in, but weren't shooting the ball well, and things you really looked for your offense tonight, and the ball was dropping. It seemed like a really easy game, was it?
Yeah, definitely. You know, things just felt good, like you said, and my teammates did a good job of getting me the ball when I was feeling it.
Arizona put that in the past, but now we've got the University of Connecticut. I mean, these are not only two of the best programs in America, but we're talking from a historical standpoint. These are two of the greats. Talk about, first of all, the schedule this year and all these great programs on it. And does it get overwhelming at some point in time?
I guess it could feel overwhelming. I don't think it is. You know, it's just a great thing that we can do for our school to play against all those good teams. That it raises our rep across the country, and I just think it helps us overall.
And Connecticut on Saturday. Now, this is a very good team. They're led by a 7'3" guy, 265 pounds, and they're going to be coming right at you, and you're going to have to deal with that. So talk about that.
It's just a big game, you know. Tabit he's a great player. He's a national powerhouse team. We're just gonna have to do what we can do to come out and dominate the game.
So we take a look at some of the highlights from Josh in this game tonight. Josh, you're obviously we're showing some plays inside here, but really you're shooting it so well from outside at 50% now, I think, for the season. Just feeling good for you, huh?
Oh, definitely. You know, it's something that I've always enjoyed doing, and I'm just glad the ball is dropping for me.
All right, I can't let you go without talking about the snow today.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, you're a guy that grew up in Clarkston, Washington. You get some snow down there, but kind of call it the banana belt, right?
Yeah.
But have you ever seen anything like this today?
Not at all. The worst snow ever was back home that we had about a foot maybe.
Yeah.
But this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to describe it.
And I know the one thing that's most disappointing for Josh is that he's already earned his degree. So he's in graduate school, and he's only got one class. So You didn't have any of the finals that got canceled like a lot of your comrades here and the students that were all in here tonight. And I know that was disappointing for you.
A little bit, but, at the same time, I was just glad I didn't have to do anything.
This is Josh Heitfeld. We're going to go over to Craig Elo, who's got Jeremy Pargo. Craig.
I do. I have Jeremy Pargo. You got to be very, very happy about this game tonight, don't you, from that loss on Sunday to Arizona? 7 points, 7 turnovers. But tonight you had only 4 points, but 8 assists and only 2 turnovers. Tell me how that happened.
We shouldn't have told everybody about the Arizona game. There's a lot of people that didn't see that stat line. You shouldn't have said that. But, tonight was it was a fun game for us. We got out here and played hard and did some things that we do well that we didn't do against Arizona tonight. Yeah, now you played the last 6 games on the road. How good was it to come back home and play in front of your own fans? Oh, it felt good. With the weather, in Spokane right now, it's just crazy. And being able to have, these fans out here, it was great for us. And, we enjoyed playing in front of these guys. Yeah, now there's one thing that you do very well, and that's penetrate with the basketball and find other guys. Are you already made your mind up to assist when you're down there, or do you look to shoot the ball first? Point guards are supposed to what? Pass first, shoot second? Yeah, I just told you I was a little upset that I didn't get a couple more assists. But, once I get in the lane, I feel like the pressure, collapses on me, and I have great shooters all around me. And Matt, Josh, Micah, you got great shooters all around you. So you kick the ball out, and it's pretty much a basket, as you saw tonight. Well, there's one thing that I love about Jeremy Pargo, and it's about the character of this man. He's got a name on your shoe. Show him what that is and tell him what that means. Is rest in peace, Mr. Brown. My best friend growing up, a high school teammate, his father passed right before we started playing in Orlando. It was tough on him, and he's got a younger sister that he had to take care of, and it was just trying to show respect to him and his dad. And on the other shoe, I pretty much tell him to stay strong. Just a message to him, and right now he's doing well, keeping his head up. Well, there's one message Jeremy wants to do, and that's send it out to Matt Santangelo. You better watch that career assist because this man's chasing it right now. Back to you, Greg.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Craig Elo. Well, Gonzaga now 8-1. But I tell you, this is a real meaty schedule coming up. They've got Connecticut on Saturday. That's next in line. Gonzaga will begin to climb the polls again if they can beat the Huskies on Saturday. For Craig Elo, I'm Greg Heister. Gonzaga wins it by 42 points despite 30 inches of snow outside in the city of Spokane. Our next broadcast here on KHQ and FSN will be the 23rd of December against Portland State. Good night, stay warm, and I hope your back isn't breaking out there.